Congratulate our team and thank our fans and our students. Our students are so unbelievable. A lot of people came to I think, say thank you for last week's hard-fought win on the road against Minnesota and step up and watch Connor play and so many young guys playing today and really help us. Charlotte's got really good players. I told Coach Pogge after the game that you guys just need to keep working. You've got some really talented players. There's a bunch of 5-stars on there and a bunch of guys, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get transfers all together. But that first couple of drives, I mean, I'm sitting there saying, okay, this is going to be a handful throughout the day. And you start looking around at college football scores, it scares you. It's changed. And I think probably the transfer portal's changed it the most because teams can change who they are and you don't even know what that means anymore. I was really impressed with their quarterback, Mack Brown. He got hurt at halftime and didn't get to play the second half, but the young freshman came in and did some good things. And that kind of threw us off because we hadn't seen him before. So he had a drive or two there as we've gone. But proud of our defense that they held them to 25 carries for 49 yards again. So that's 75 yards and 49 yards, and we haven't done that in a long time. So really, really proud of them. And when you start stopping the run, that means that you put them in third and longs, and then they're 2 for 14 in third downs. And that's obviously something that's really, really positive for us. We've got to get more sacks, and we've got to put ourselves in a position where, because we had 3 sacks, last week we had 5, but we got to get more turnovers. And that's something we talked about last week, and it didn't get better. Omariam was running the ball well. He got banged up a little bit, and he could have played, but we pulled him out because we wanted to make sure he's safe moving forward. And we wanted to see the younger backs, and Caleb Hood got to play a little bit again, and that helped him get his confidence back so maybe he can play more moving forward because he hadn't practiced very much. Young French made some good runs at the end of the game. But Davion Goss is a guy that we really feel good about, and that's with Darren Barlow being out. So Larry Porter's done a really good job with a full room of really good running backs. So hopefully Barlow will be back next week, but if not, he's going to have to fight now with Davion to get where he needs to get. Thought Connor did a lot of really good things. We were 6 for 11 on third down. We ran for 269 yards. We threw it for 221 yards, and we can do a better job in that area. But I thought that this will be a great teachable moment game for him. Don't do this. When we got called for the pick when we were going in to score, they absolutely hit him in the face, and they just missed it. They looked for targeting. Well, you can't call roughing the passer from upstairs because they call targeting. That was absolutely roughing the passer, so I hate it for them, and they knew it. They just missed it. But he got hit right in the face. You can't hit the quarterback in the face, and that would have been another 15-yard penalty and a first down that should have led to another touchdown. So we still got to be more consistent on offense. We had too many penalties, but and they threw it over our head a couple of times with our defense. So we've got to get that stopped because when you stop the run, they're going to have to take deep shots. And as Coach Bowden used to tell me, we were hitting the quarterback a lot early in the game. And he was still making plays because he's at Florida last year. He's really a good player. But at some point, if you keep getting those hits, you're going to get tired of it. And Coach Bowden said, as long as we're hitting him, I didn't care. And our guys just continued to do that. So played just about everybody that could play. Won a game by a bunch of points and left a lot of points on the board. So I think that kicking game was really good. He punted it really high and not always long, but I thought Elijah Huzzy did a great job of catching the ball, even in the sun some with people all around him. Because when the ball hits, you usually lose about 17 yards extra. So that happened to us at Minnesota. So he did a tremendous job. We missed a 50-yard field goal, which it was long enough. It just shoved it a little bit to the right. But thought our punting game was good, and we kicked every kickoff out of the back of the end zone. So felt like kicking game was really good. We didn't turn the ball over on offense. We can get smoother. We can make better things happen. And it was good that we were forced to play without 3 of our best players. When Blasky went out early, and he said he could go back in, but we didn't want him to. And Zach Greenberg goes in. He's never been to a college game before at this level. So that's just kind of the day it was. Okay. So they just kept coming to tell me and said, so-and-so's out. And I said, okay. And Kamen Rucker felt something in the weight room on Thursday afternoon late, and he was out for a couple of weeks. So it's been a 2 weeks to start the season with a lot of sudden change. Let's just put it that way. And the guys and coaches seem to be just handling it and moving on. Next man up. So it'll be fun to see, how did Tyler Thompson play? How did Jay Brown Harvey play? Because they've never really played in games before, and this will be a great video to watch tonight, so we can see a lot of players that haven't played very much and see how they play. Questions?
With Connor being injured his ankle early in the ball game, coming in last week, tried to get you to the finish line, was this kind of like his first healthy, full game? And then when you throw in some of the adversity, losing Amari, losing the center, how do you think he handled that? Did you see growth during the game?
Yeah, I thought he handled it really well. I didn't like the way we responded to the 1 minute drill with 4 minutes left right before the half. We were kind of disorganized, and then we hit a pass and we're lined up with too many guys on the line of scrimmage. And so we've got to do better in those areas. Sam and Drake had so much poise when they were going, so we've got to get better in those 1 minute drives. But we can get Connor running the option like he can, and we will. We can move him more with boots and nakeds. He had one right into a blitz, and he got to throw that ball away. So this will be worth 5 years of coaching for Chip, for Clyde, and for Connor, because he had so many great things. It's hard with that reverse throwback pass. That thing took forever, and it was up in the air. I thought it was never going to come down, and poor old Christian Hamilton waiting on it, I thought, forever. And that's hard to catch a ball that wide open, and Christian did a great job and then scored and had Copenhaver pushing him too. So I think Connor will see that there were some plays he could have kept on the option instead of handing it off, or vice versa. I think he will see that there's some passes where he went short that he could have gone deeper, and he did a really good job.
As a follow-up to that, you mentioned poise. How does he develop poise other than getting those situations?
I told the guy, I think he wants to please, and he tries so hard. He won 2 state championships in Alabama with packed houses, so he's got poise. And he's one of the smartest kids I've ever seen, so I think he needs to have more fun and quit trying to please us all. And hopefully after today he'll be able to do that.
Mack, along those lines with Connor, did you think about, in terms of the poise and things like that, did you feel like he had a little bit of a dicey beginning there where he was kind of running around in the end zone a little bit? The first series he fumbled. Do you think he was thinking too much, trying too hard there on the first series?
Yeah, I'm sure he was anxious because this is the first time he's ever started at home. Played a little bit against Campbell in the second half, but he really hadn't played any. And you're following Drake and Sam, so that's a load. You're following Max, who had a great third quarter the other night. That's a load. And he knows we got a chance to have a really good team. We've got to have a quarterback step up. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure, and we've got to take that pressure off of him and really help him. He gives you an added dimension because he's so fast. And when he turns up, there's 15 yards real quick. So it's going to change how people play us, and it's going to allow us to have more people open because they can't play man as much. They can't blitz as much because if they blitz and miss, he's gone. So we're going to have to figure out how people are going to play him. It's going to be interesting to watch to see how he develops, the plan that we develop with him, and how people play against him. Chip?
I've seen that play early in the game where he scrambled around, come back, across.
Yeah, that's one of those you said, no! Don't do. Oh, good job. That's a great play. Great play. No, I thought it really was when Drake made and Sam so many plays off schedule that I thought that was a great play for him. And I thought he had a lot of poise on the trick play because the corner was coming. He was coming fast, and he sat right there. And the one interception he had, he got hit. That's our fault. I couldn't tell exactly what happened. But he's tough. He's smart. He can throw it. He's got everything. But we've got to help him more. We can't have penalties. I was so proud of our discipline the first game. We didn't have as much offensively tonight. And part of it was young players, but it doesn't matter. They got to go by the rules too.
One thing that he asked, I guess, Desmond, injuries,
Yeah, it's upper body, and he should be fine. He shouldn't be. I don't know. All of those guys, and Jeremy will update you on Monday, all those guys would have a chance, I would think, to play next week, but if not, within 2. Nobody is in danger of not playing the rest of the year.
Cayman, or rest of the year.
Yes, and Cayman's probably a couple of weeks, maybe 3, but he's going to be fine. And Cayman's out there singing and jumping up and down and screaming and leading, and he's just the best. He led the fight song in the locker room after the game.
Mack, you had Christian catching his first career touchdown. You had Bullock scoring his first career touchdown. Connor doing his thing, Jordan Ship recovered an onside kick. Do you feel like this was one of the more, since you've been back, one of the more complete contributions from younger guys, freshmen, in any single game?
Yeah, I really do, Michael. I think in fact, it probably was. There were guys out there. Jordan Ship's screen. He stopped. He planted, looked like an older guy, and he went north and south and made a great play. And he had a bad shoulder for a couple of weeks, so he didn't get to play. So that'll be so much fun to watch him now. And what I've learned is when those young guys play in a game, they practice so much harder the next week because they think they have a chance to play again. And if you're not playing, then you don't practice well. So I was excited to see Alex Taylor out there and Vari Green out there. It's the first time they've been in Kenan Stadium in a game, so it has to be a great thrill for them.
Now, you talked about Davion Ross and the things he's able to do, but to kind of elaborate on that, how would you assess his performance having to take on the workload he did on a relative short notice with, Amari going down? Obviously, you knew Barlow wasn't going to play. How do you feel he took on that workload?
He is a lot like Omarion in that he never speaks. That room doesn't speak. I mean, none of them do. So it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And Coach Porter doesn't speak. So they just, it's like a bunch of guys just sitting in there watching video, and maybe they got sign language or something. I don't know. But he is, he's really cool. He's mature. He's tough. He is not emotional at all. We've seen that in the spring. We've seen it every day in practice. When you put him in a situation, he looks like an older player. And he's tough. He's 220. And he's got really good vision. The question was the long speed, but if you're getting 10 yards every time you touch it, and thank goodness he had about 3 or 4 he could put in there today that made plays.
When we talked to Bullock back in, I guess it was January, February, we talked to some of the early arriving freshmen. He said that he was mature. He said he was college ready, and he was very proud of the fact that he could pass protect because he had to do that a lot in high school. Did we see some of him tonight from a guy that came mature, came ready to play?
Absolutely.
He's just got a guy like Amari, an older guy like Darwin in front of him.
He is, and he is such a great story. He was recruited by everybody, and I said, "Why'd you come here?" And he said, "Because when I was a sophomore, I went to the Miami game where you all played, and Javonte Williams and Michael Carter ran up and down the field, and I said, I want to play there." And he said, "I made a decision that night I was coming to North Carolina if you all would offer me a scholarship." So that's really cool. And I love the young guy. He is not afraid of anything. He's tough, mature, smart. He handles himself well. And like I said, I think he's on every special team at the same time.
Matt, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about Christian Hamilton, that crazy trick play, that touchdown. I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, but kind of take me behind that play and how it felt for those guys and for you to see him across and just see him celebrate that touchdown. Take me through that.
Well, as our offense is growing and we're learning what Connor and Jacoby can do, you need some trick plays. I thought the reverse to Nate McCullum was really cool. It was a great call, and he just slid in. And he was close on a couple of kickoff returns. But seeing Christian Hamilton, like Bullitt, does everything right. He don't speak, you don't notice him a lot, but he's a great student. He's a tremendous person. He is so unselfish. Bullitt is so unselfish. They do exactly what you ask them to do. And I think Christian starts on 4 special teams. So really, really proud of those guys. And we needed some misdirection. We've got to get Connor on the corner more with boots and nakeds. We still haven't been able to do that. A lot of people have been blitzing from the outside, and that's why we're running the ball so well up inside, but we still got to be able to have an element of getting on the corner. And that play, I thought it was going to blow up because when the corner came, I thought it hit us in the backfield, and Connor was poised. They were all poised. They pitched it back to him, and then Connor made a great throw. And again, it's really hard to catch a ball when you're not sure where everybody around you is located, and they can all hit you, and he was focused. Usually people drop that ball. And then he was cool enough to step around, and John Copenhaver was smart enough not to block in the back, and we scored. And I thought that pretty much ended the game because they weren't going to score many points. And then after that, I was disappointed we didn't score a couple of more touchdowns where we kicked field goals.
Matt, can you just talk about Jabari Ritzy here in the year? 2 more sacks tonight at the final of the season. Just a highly recruited guy that feels like he's really kind of coming to his own.
Yes, first, I'm a huge fan of Ted Monachino. I mean, the guy's been a defensive coordinator in the NFL. He's coached 16 years in the NFL, and he's coached the best pass rushers ever. So the guy really knows what he's doing. So he has helped. Jabari is confident. He's really healthy for the first time because he's always had a shoulder, an ankle. He's always had something. And I think because he's playing so well and at such a high level, and we're able to substitute for him and keep him fresh, that he's playing with as much confidence as I've ever seen. And pro scouts were in there the other day just buzzing, saying, where'd this guy come from? And so I'm really proud. Des Evans the same. Des is playing his tail off, and he's playing so hard that I'm really proud. I thought Travis Shaw played good again tonight. The interior people all played good. Josh Harris has added so much to us just because of depth. Kevin Hester doesn't have to play tired anymore. I remember Aaron Crawford played 98 plays at Virginia Tech in the 6 overtimes. I bet those guys, they had it 56 plays last week. Minnesota had it 55. These guys are playing 25 plays a game. And I'll bet most of them probably didn't play that much. We had Joel Starlings in there. We had Nora in there. We had a lot of young guys out there playing tonight.
Coach, how vital is Elijah Hussey's versatility, making pressures behind the line of scrimmage as well as keeping trying to...
It really hurt us last year when Elijah had to move to nickel star because we lost DeAndre Boykins, because we weren't as good at corner. He is a ball hawk. He's got tremendous hands. He's got unbelievable instincts. He's tough, and he's one of the best players that we've got. Period. And he exudes that confidence at the same time. He was Ritzy was the defensive captain today. Willie Lampkin was the offensive captain today, and Noah Burnett and Elijah Hussey shared the special teams captain today. That's how important he is to this team.
Any concern over the big chunks in the passing game?
Yeah, but those are individual plays that we got to get better at, or we've got to get more pressure on the quarterback. You can't, everybody wants to blitz, but cover everybody. Well, when you blitz, you got them back there by themselves, so you better get there. And a couple of them were over Caleb Cost, and he'll get better at it because the star position is a position that has to tackle. He has to blitz. He has to cover their fastest guy. I asked 3 after the game, how fast are you? He said, I don't know, pretty fast. And I said, yeah, you looked real fast. So we've got to look at that and see. And there was a great out and up on Marcus Allen that they caught, and then he played it really good the second half. The similar thing, he played 2 really good plays there. So I'm all in to Jeff Collins and stopping the run and blitzing the quarterback and trying to get there before they can throw it. But if not, those corners better hang on. And I'd rather give up 3 deep throws than 355 yards passing because then we don't have the ball. We had 71 plays this week. We had it 64 last week. If they keep the ball the whole game, and we had it 33 minutes and 24 seconds, they had it 26 minutes and 36 seconds. So, and I should have mentioned this to start. Those goal line stands were unbelievable. We hadn't done that around here. They were unbelievable. And that just doesn't happen. And then they're at the 4th and 1, and they have to throw it. normally they could run a quarterback sneak and knock us back about 6 yards. So many positive things about this defense. We can get rid of the couple of long passes.
All righty. Thank you, Coach.
Thank